back at it again with another Nom Studios podcast. And today we have the one and only Nicole Craveiro with Crave HRO in the building. How you doing?
I am great. Thanks
Bring
for
the
having me.
bring the mic closer. Don't be shy. There you go. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You are finally on the
I
podcast.
know, about damn time.
Yeah. If you didn't know, Nicole has been like emailing and text messaging me saying like about that podcast. But little does she know, I had foresight to like think of when to put her on because, she got some juicy stuff to talk about.
Always.
But before we even get there, can you tell people about what you do and how you do it?
Wow. I do a lot of stuff, but I am an HR consultant. I have my own HR consulting firm. I work with many different employers on their HR matters. And, geez, how do I explain this?
Well, the one way you do explain it is you say cutting through corporate BS.
Yeah.
That's
So
kind of interesting because as like HR, everybody knows like HR is for the company. It's not really for the people, but you're for the people.
I am for the people.
How are you for the people? How do you cut through that corporate BS?
Well, because I was an employee once, so I know how it is. And the way I look at it is without employees, you wouldn't be an employer. So you want to keep your employees happy, and you also want to protect yourself.
Mhm.
So you maintain your employer status. So I protect the employer, but I also protect the employee.
Okay. If you didn't know, if you're friends with Nicole on LinkedIn and you post a job applicant or a job posting, she will DM you or say it right in the comments, like put the amount of how much you're paying them. I'm like,
Post the
sorry.
pay. Post the pay. Not only is it the right thing to do, it's also required in the state.
So corporate cutting through the corporate BS, and what are some of the most ridiculous HR things that you've came across so far since starting? How long has Crave HRO been around?
It will be my 4-year anniversary next month.
Okay, 4 years. So you made it past like the 3 year, like businesses don't last more than 3 years
Yeah.
kind of stigma. Okay.
Yes. Woohoo. Not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay, good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
And crazy HR stories.
Okay. So I have top 3.
Okay.
And I have permission to tell you that 2 of which is from our good friend Tim.
Tim Wan.
Yes.
Tim Wan. Shout out to Tim Wan.
He always says name drop him. But the first
This
one,
podcast is sponsored by Tim.
Yeah.
Tim Wan and Parikh Wan.
So the first one, and maybe I won't say which 2,
Oh, yeah.
but the first one was there was the time that there was someone who was having phone sex in an open office.
Oh, I heard this one. Yes.
Yeah. So when we terminated them, I let them keep their dignity and actually cited a whole host of other performance issues and let them go. However, when I sent them the termination letter, they came back with, they felt that they were being discriminated against, and they wanted to sue, basically. And I was like, all right, listen, I have the recordings. It's well known that they were being recorded. So for the life of me, I don't know why they chose to do this at work, but they did. And I was like, listen, have your attorney contact me and I'll be glad to provide them with the recordings.
Yeah.
And never heard from them again. So
discrimination.
Yeah, didn't even file for unemployment.
You literally had the Diddy tapes.
Yes. So that was that one. There was another one in which this was a candidate pre-background check. They just casually mentioned that they were facing charges because there their dog had an ear infection, and rather than taking them to the vet, they decided to cut off their ears. So this happened to be for a role in which they would be entering the houses of residential houses in which pets would be present. So obviously that would not work. So we declined.
There was an ear infection, so you decided to cut the ears off.
Yes. So obviously that was a no-go. So, we declined to hire that candidate and moved along. And this was at the very end, and just casually mentioned it, like, how's the weather today?
I was about to say, I cut off my dog's ears.
Yeah, so that was the second one, and then the third one was someone who just casually kept having accidents in the restroom, and for no reason. And when we brought it up to them, they just was like, "Oh, again?"
Was it an older person?
Not really. That wasn't the reason for it. They just couldn't. It was more of a lack of care than anything else, or a lack of consideration for others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So based on these stories, obviously you're in the hiring process, you're in the firing process. You talk to attorneys when cases are brought or attempted to be brought against your clients. Like, what else as an HR professional and does Crave HRO do for a client?
So I will say that, knock on wood,
Right there. Right here.
that I actually have never had a client get sued in any of these. Or
because you do your job.
Yeah. There was this one time where someone tried to sue a client, and it was after we terminated an employee, but it was because we had planned to terminate them on a Friday, and they called out sick, so we terminated them on a Monday instead. So they tried to sue them because they tried to say that we terminated them because they called out sick, but we had documented that we planned to terminate them on that Friday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But aside from all that employee relations issues, like, I don't just fire people. That's a common myth.
So I guess that's my next question. You really protect their employer. You do your due diligence. So when things like that happen, the employer is protected. Because you always hear stories of I guess with social media, I always hear stories like, just sue them. Like, that's the easiest way to get a bag.
Well, there are some, like, I always tell my clients that employees, I don't guarantee you're not going to get sued if you work with me, because employees can really sue for anything. Like, a good attorney is going to tell you whether you have a case or not, but they can sue for anything.
Okay. You just make sure you have the documentation.
Exactly. I try to tell my clients or prospective client that I'm like a fire extinguisher. You want to have it before the fire, because if your furniture is already crispy, there's not much I can do about it.
I like that, if your furniture is already crispy.
Yeah.
But what about on the employee side? Let's say that you don't represent a client, an employee, just say from another organization, comes to like, hey, Nicole, I'm going through this. Not that you're an attorney or anything, but do you do any type of employee side consultations? Or are you just strictly with the business or organization?
So I make my money from strictly small employers, usually under 50, but I will get employees all the time, like especially like old colleagues. They'll reach out to me if they have situations going on at work, just to run things by me, to just get my opinion on what's happening at their workplace. I'll get referrals from people I used to work with, basically being like, hey, my employer needs HR. Can you come check this out and tell me what you think?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you always say that at least 60% of employers are in violation of like at least one labor law.
Oh, yeah. things that they don't even know about. And one thing I always use as an example is there's one form in New York State that you're supposed to give every employee on hiring, that if you don't, the penalty is $250 per employee per day, up to
I thought that was
$5,000.
paused. Is that everything that I thought that was paused last year or something? I'm sorry, talking to HR. See the way she just looked at me? I can't. Obviously, the HR.
Wait, are you talking about the BOR?
I don't know. There's some maybe I was talking about the tax thing.
Yeah, no, that's completely different thing.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about the pay transparency.
Yeah.
It's called the notice of pay rate. So every time you hire an employee, and there's a different form for every type of pay. So there's hourly, salary, fixed pay, a whole bunch of. It's called the notice and acknowledgement of pay rate.
Okay.
And you give it to them at hire and at a change in pay. And if you don't, the penalty is $250 per employee, up to $5,000.
So people who are watching this can technically be like, "Wow, I have something to sue about right now."
Technically. Or they could be like, "I have no idea what she's talking about," and call me.
Yeah, call her. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so, you have like a portal, like CraveWave.
Yes.
And that's been around like a year, a couple of months now?
A year in October.
A year in October. Okay, and what is CraveWave?
Okay, so my clients get it as a value add. If they're on a retainer, they have access to it. I use it to service my clients. It's where I house their handbooks. It's where I administer their sexual harassment training, which is mandatory annually. It's where I house their templates. There's also an HR hotline in it. Obviously, if they're working with me, they don't really need it. But it's also a standalone tool. I sell it to the general public. It's $150 a month. And it's basically a self-service HR compliance software.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so why would someone like me need that?
Because it gives you access to attorney vetted templates, basically everything that you would need to be compliant. It's what I utilize to do my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that brings me into like what you utilize to do your work. The juicy stuff that we wanted to talk about was what's going on between your husband and his former employer. And I feel like what's going on with him, like, it is just beyond perfect that like his wife is an HR professional. It's like you are perfectly positioned to help fight this, what we're
The
about to talking
irony.
about.
The
Because
irony
what
is
would have
real.
happened if, like, you had to, I feel like the amount of time you spent doing this would have cost already thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
If you went to, like, if you had to pay an HR professional or a lawyer.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel terrible for people out there that are, I mean, the more I talk about it, the more people are reaching out to me, telling me their stories that don't have someone like me who knows labor laws and knows the right things that they should have done during this whole fiasco, and don't have someone to advocate for them. And I'm like, this is awful that this happens and that the system allows it to happen.
Okay, so let's go into the story. Tell like the abridged version,
Oh,
because I
boy.
know you've told me the version before, and I know you have a long version and a abridged version. Let's hear the abridged version so we could go into like the discussion about like what's happening, what to do, like what people can do.
All right, let me take a sip first. All right. So my husband has been working for King Cullen Grocery since 2008. He works 6 days a week. His day off is on Tuesday. And he is part of Union Local 342. He has pretty much no problems. He's been hurt twice over the course of 15 plus years. Never had a problem before, though, getting his workers' comp claims approved. Flash forward to 2023. I break my ankle in 3 places, subsequently get diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome. He needs to take some time off for the first time ever. And I have him file for paid family leave and Family Medical Leave Act so he can utilize those leaves and not have to worry about getting paid and, job protection. Or so we thought. I got hurt in May and he gets his first write-up in July. And I'm like, wait a second, like, they know they're not supposed to do that, right? And he's like, apparently not, because I got written up. And so me being me, I reach out to his HR department and I'm like, hey, like, you're not supposed to do this, right? And they're like, oh, of course, we'll redact that from his record. Turns out that, I spoke to his HR person and they tell me that they're in the middle of like a restructure, that the person that he was instructed to send it to actually didn't work there anymore. So they never got his paperwork. It was never submitted to the insurance company. They ended up retracting it and resubmitting it 3 months after the fact. And they retracted the written warning, but reissued an unofficial verbal warning the next day. So that was the start of the whole thing, the retaliation and whatnot. So at that point, he had weeks of time left, but he didn't feel comfortable using it because he didn't want to be further retaliated against. And so he stopped using it and just started using
the leave.
So then he just started using his regular sick time, which he had plenty of, but then they continued to suspend him, write him up, whatever, without pay and whole 9 yards. Flash forward a year later, he gets hurt. This is the third time he's gotten hurt. And then they controvert the claim.
What does that mean, controvert the claim?
That means that they decided to say that he wasn't hurt at work.
Okay.
Because he was on vacation the week prior, and when he got home from vacation, when he got back to work from vacation, he was complaining about being sore from yard work because we didn't actually go on vacation. We stayed home and did yard work and stuff like that. Yeah. Because when you work 6 days a week, when do you really have time to do time? Yeah.
So they're trying to say because of the yard work, he hurt himself, and he's trying to say he got hurt.
Yes.
At home, not at work.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we had their first hearing, which so he got hurt in May. Our first hearing was in October. They scheduled 15 minutes for 4 witnesses. Tell me how that makes sense logistically. So that got rescheduled for a month later in November. Their witnesses, there were none. He was alone when he got hurt. So 3 of which were not even there. They were not even in the building. So I don't know how they were allowed to be witnesses, but I guess they were more character witnesses. So they were all there to talk about how he wasn't a good person because he utilizes of his absences that were all protected. Okay. And the other one was his colleague who was basically just there that day, but not there when he got hurt. And that was spread over several hearings. So we got through them. This all started in October, ended in February.
Now we're in February of 2024.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was when they decided that he won his case.
Okay.
And then they appealed it.
Okay. When did they appeal it? Right after?
Yes.
Okay. So February of 2024,
in
he wins, and March of 2024, they appeal the case. And then what happens from there?
They appealed it with no new evidence.
Okay.
They just basically restated everything they did in the...
Okay. So what is supposed to happen, and then what did happen?
So what was supposed to happen was we were supposed to get a check for $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
And he was supposed to get treated. Oh, by the way, he hasn't not gotten treated for his injuries this entire time, and he's got 3 herniated discs and a hernia.
Okay. So he hasn't been treated. You're supposed to get a check. They appeal the decision. So now what?
No treatment, no check.
Okay. But now we're in July of 2025. What's happened between all that time?
Oh, just a couple of weeks ago, he hit his year mark and he was terminated from King Cullen because he was no longer protected by the union.
All right. And so from an HR perspective, since you know all the HR laws, like what is supposed to happen? Where has the ball been dropped? Like how can an employer do this without...
I don't even think the ball was picked up.
How can an employer even do this without, being like providing some sort of accountability, compensation, especially if, you guys won the case, they appealed it. What happened to appeal? They won the appeal, or what's going on?
The appeal. This is the thing that.
So just
in
say it pisses
another
you
life,
off.
if I wasn't a business owner, like I would be like.
Okay, I could say this is what pisses Nicole off.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So there is no law in New York that puts a time frame on when the appeal can be resolved. The average, according to Google, is that it will take 9 to 12 months to resolve. So that could be up to 2 years with no second income. So like I have been the sole provider for my house now for a year.
And he can't work because you can't work while supposedly
Correct.
hurt, because that would be bad for your case.
Well, he can't physically work, obviously, because he's injured.
Mm-hmm.
He was employed
Mm-hmm.
by King Cullen for the last year.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, no. And then here's the other thing. He can't apply for unemployment because unemployment, you have to be ready and willing to work.
Mm-hmm. But does he have some type of like workers' comp or paid leave from the union after and above the $40,000 that you're supposed to receive?
Well, technically, it's just workers' comp for life.
But he was
now workers' comp will probably eventually settle with him, but we have to wait. We're just at their mercy.
And do you have a time frame?
No.
So
because the state doesn't have one.
So what can you do as a in distress citizen and a person who's hurt to push this? Like, what options do you have right now?
Absolutely none. We filed for bankruptcy.
You did tell me that.
That's
but
that was
there's
our
no calling your legislator. Like, there's nothing your lawyer could do. There's nothing like judges. Like, you're saying King Cullen could just keep pushing this off.
Lawyers are hesitant to take the case because right now it falls under workers' comp. I absolutely do plan on suing for a host of other violations of labor laws at some point. But like, for instance, I filed a claim with the Department of Labor. Department of Labor is like, this falls under the National Labor Relations Board. But National Labor Relations Board is like, take it up with the union. We filed a grievance with the union. We heard from them, 10 days ago. And it's been silenced ever since. But there's like so much red tape to get through. It doesn't help you, especially when you're financially struggling. Nothing gets you money now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm lucky. I know it doesn't sound like I'm lucky, but I am lucky that my business is doing well and that I've been able to support my family and that I've had, bankruptcy sounds like a crappy thing. I gotta remember that we're not sitting here alone having
it's a
talking
podcast.
the
You could
way
curse.
we usually do. It sounds like a really shitty thing.
That's a nighttime Nicole talking.
Yeah, but it could be, a blessing in disguise, because it has allowed me to, keep my home. Could you imagine me moving my mom in and then losing my house? My business has allowed me to, I do well enough where I have been able to support us both this past year.
Okay.
I haven't been able to invest back into my business the way I want to and grow the way I want to and keep up the lifestyle that I'm used to living the way I want to. But
so what's like the learning, I guess, tale or process here, either between like you, a business, another business that's looking at you right now? Like, obviously, you are perfectly positioned. You know your shit, and it's still taking this long, right? And so, I mean, what can anybody do to help? Like, if anybody, she doesn't know. She said she doesn't know. But if you can help, contact Nicole. We'll have her email and stuff. But, as an HR professional, I just don't know. What's the learning process, the learning
I would
point
say
here?
don't support employers that don't support their employees. Connect with me on LinkedIn and make my blog go viral because people need to know what's going on. Also, sign my petition.
So if you were an HR professional in King Cullen right now, like,
do better.
How would you be navigating this process, especially since King Cullen is such a large corporation?
I know, it's crazy.
And
they sent me a termination letter that, knowing they're sending it to me, I've talked to them. I've emailed the woman who signed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so non-compliant. They sent me a form that wasn't even filled out.
So how, knowing that King Cullen is like such a large organization, so King Cullen itself is probably putting pressure on the HR professionals.
I don't think they know, to be honest.
The corporation?
Yeah, because if leadership knew about this, they should be ashamed.
Let's see, she's staring at you guys.
Yeah, I am.
That's your camera right there. That's for you, King Cullen. So you don't think corporate or leadership or higher leadership than you're dealing with, then who deals with this? Just HR? Who, like, the manager of the store? Like, how do you go through all this legal process without knowing? I mean,
when I started in the corporate world, I was working for the brother of I think the current CEO of King Cullen.
Okay.
And I don't remember him being a bad guy. So I got to say that there's no way he knows what's going on.
What's his name?
Joe Brown.
Joe Brown of King Cullen. So, okay. So, Joe Brown, this is for you. This is for you. Tonight on 2020. No,
you heard it here first.
We go deep. So how can people find you? How can people find you? How can people find you to either help with what's going on between you, your husband, and King Cullen, or how can people find you to get HR services or HR advice? By the way, she doesn't give free HR advice. She has an hourly rate. She has an hourly rate, like a legal retainer.
I don't work hourly.
Yes, she does. If you just need advice consultation, she has an hourly rate. Do not listen to her. She does. So how can they find you?
Yes, I'll charge you for the whole month for 1 hour. So, all right, for HR stuff, check out my website. It's www.cravehro.com. And for the tea, you want to go to my LinkedIn. That's www.linkedin.com/IN/N Craveiro. Craveiro.
All right. Thanks for coming, Nicole. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me, finally.